What is up, guys? Fahir here from AwesomeTuts.com. Let us wrap things up, starting with our gameplay controller. So in the scripts folder and helper scripts, I am going to right click and create our gameplay controller like this. And I am going to right click here in the hierarchy and create an empty game object, which I'm going to name gameplay. So it's gameplay controller. So gameplay controller. And I'm going to attach the script on the gameplay controller. What do we need? Well, as always, we need a couple of variables to start with. And let me do my thing. So let me tag the class, give a little bit of space. The first thing, we are going to make our gameplay controller an instance. So public static gameplay controller instance like this. And for our instance, right here, instead of our update, I'm going to create make instance. And inside of this one, I'm simply going to say if instance is equal to null, meaning it's not pointing anywhere, I'm going to say instance is equal to this, and voila, we are good to go. I'm also going to call this function in the awake function as always. So this is nothing new. We did this probably thousands of times so far. Before moving forward, I am also going to type here using unityengine.ui because we need to get ourselves a reference to the text displaying the score to our user, and we are going to display the score every time our snake eats a fruit. So here we also need a public game object for our fruit pick up. Now this is not a pickup truck, it's simply a fruit. And we also have a bomb pick up like this. Now also we are going to have a private float. This is going to be our minimum underscore x, which is equal to negative 4.25f. We are also going to have maximum x, which is equal to 4.25f. Now the minimum is negative and the positive, or the maximum, is positive. Minimum y, which is equal to negative 2.26f, and positive or maximum y, which is equal to 2.26f. And also our private float z underscore POS, which is equal to 5.8f. What is all of this here? What did I just type? Am I going crazy or not? Well, first of all, we need to make sure that we are going to spawn our fruits and the bomb between our game objects here. Let me just find the level. Here it is. So between, when I said between our game objects, I meant between here and here. So as you can see, this point, let me just take it again. So this point here is let me just find it. It's negative 4.25. So negative 4.25, which is somewhere around here. And this one is positive 4.25, which is somewhere around here. How did I find these values? Well, I just did as you just saw. I took this fruit or this eye and I positioned it here and saw which position that was, then positioned it here and saw which position that was. Did the same thing for y-axis. And voila, this is how I got them. Now our fruit and bomb in the scene, we can remove them because we're going to drag and drop. If I select the gameplay controller, we will go in prefabs and pickups, and we will drag and drop these from our prefab. So fruit pickup will go here and bomb pickup will go right here. So moving forward or going back here, and Z position is same as for all of our game objects. You can see Snake has Z position 5.8. So does every other game object that we want it to be visible. So moving forward, we also need a private text, which is going to be our score text. And we need a private int, which is our score count. Now, inside of the start function, we are going to say, so void start. And here we are going to say our score text is equal to game object. Find the game object with the name score, get the component text from that game object like this, and we are good to go. Now you need to make sure that the name of that game object is indeed score. So in our UI here, so UI canvas, here it is, score. So make sure the names match up, or otherwise this will not work. Now we are going to create functions that are going to start spawning our pickups, be that a bomb or our fruit. So first of all, we are going to create an enumerator, a coroutine, as you might assumed, and we're going to call it spawn pickups, like this. So start spawning pickups, and here we're going to say yield return new wait for seconds, and we are going to wait from random dot range between 1f and 1.5f. So between 1 second and 1.5 of a second, we're going to wait, and then we will spawn either a fruit or a bomb, and we're going to do that using a random value. So if random range from 0 to 10 is greater or equal to 2, then we are going to instantiate a fruit. So here we're going to say instantiate, and we're going to pass here our fruit pickup at the position new vector 3, like this. And for our x, we're going to say random dot range from minimum x to maximum x. This is for the x position. For the y position, random dot range from maximum or minimum y to maximum y, and our z position, so ZPOS, comma, quaternion identity, and we are good to go. So let me just put quaternion identity right below here, and voila, we are good to go. This is for spawning our, and actually I'm also gonna put new vector 3 right here and put this right here. So it works perfectly, like a charm. So instantiate the fruit pickup on the random range between minimum x and the maximum x, minimum y and the maximum y, and I've explained this. It will instantiate our game object. So I'm going to take it like this and zoom in on our level just a little bit, something like this. And I'm going to take the highlight tool just so that I can demonstrate that. This is the minimum x and this is the maximum x value, minimum or maximum y, and this is the minimum y. So between random range between minimum and maximum, that's this range. So between here, so between these two values here, it will spawn it on the x-axis, and on the y-axis, it will spawn them between these values. As I explained a moment ago, how are we instantiating, or how did I get those random values? So this is if random range is greater or equal to 2, because there is only 20% chance that we will spawn a bomb. If that happens, then here we are going to copy this line of code, and here in the else statement, instead of fruit pickup, we're simply going to say bomb pickup, and voila, that is that. But we need 2 more functions, because here above, we are going to create void start spawning, like this, so start spawning. And here we're simply going to say start coroutine, and we're going to start our spawn pickups coroutine, which will start, well, this coroutine. But here inside of this coroutine, we are also going to call invoke, and we are going to invoke this function like this. So you see here, we are invoking this function, this one right here, that will call our coroutine, and again, over and over and over and over, until we create here a public void cancel spawning. And in our cancel spawning, we are simply going to cancel, so cancel invoke, passing here the start spawning invoke coroutine that, well, we are going to cancel. And when we start our game right here in the start function, we are going to spawn it after 0.5 seconds, so 0.5 of a second, and we will start spawning and spawning and spawning. Now, before we test this out and see if this actually works, and it will work, we are going to go here and we're going to create a public void increase, so increase score. And here simply we're going to say score count plus plus, and our score text dot text is equal to score colon plus score count. And this right here will be called inside of our snake. So when we go in our player controller, when we pick up a fruit, you see here, we are going to call our gameplay controller. So gameplay controller dot instance dot increase score. Just like that. So simply call it to increase the score. And by the way, notice here, if I go and run our game, I'm going to hit the play button. So now after 0.5 of a second, you see here, we have a bomb, we have a fruit. So here I'm going to pick up a fruit, another bomb, fruit right here. Let me try to pick it up. So fruit here. Now, one thing that you are probably noticing is that these game objects are staying in the scene. They are not being deactivated until we pick them up or until we touch the bomb. And eventually we will run out of places where we can walk or move because of the bomb. Now, because of that, we need to go in our scripts. And here I'm going to create a new folder for our pickup scripts, and simply here I'm going to create deactivate pickup. So C# script deactivate pickup. Inside of this script we are simply going to create two functions, or actually one function called void deactivate, which is going to do what? Game object set active, so that set, not gameplay controller, game object, and this is what I hate. So Visual Studio crashed on me for some reason, so we need to wait for it to reload again. When this happens, I simply close Visual Studio. This happens also with MonoDevelop. I hate it when this happens. It simply freezes. It will not take into consideration mono behavior, mono develop, whatever, but now it works because now you see I can call our game object set active is false, and in the start I am going to invoke our deactivate after random range, so random.range between 3 seconds and 6 seconds. So between 3 seconds and 6 seconds we are going to deactivate our game objects. Now, as we did, or did we go here in our gameplay controller and we called here increase score? Actually, I did not even test that out. I did not see. We were looking at our fruits, but pay attention now. So pay attention to the score when you start picking out fruits. You see score is now 1. And let us try to pick this up, and now score is 2. And again, our fruits and our bombs are not being deactivated because, silly me, select them right here in the prefabs and attach the deactivate pickup script. So if I hit the play button now, and pay attention to the score again, so when we start picking up fruits, we will start also counting the score. So now score is 1, score is 2, and you see the fruits are disappearing. I almost caught that one, or did I cut this one? I think I did. Okay, this one I missed. 4, okay, this one I missed. 5, and you see, it is working. So we are counting the score, everything is going perfectly well. What we need to do now is actually stop the game when we hit one of these. So either wall, bomb, or tail. So when we hit one of these, we simply, what we are going to do is we are going to say time, not tone, but time scale is 0. We are going to stop our game. Then you can restart the game by using your code, or either press the button and restart it, because I'm not gonna go. We did this already numerous of times, restarting the game. We created menus. I do this extensively in the Ultimate Game Development Academy, so you have all of the resources you need to create your own mechanism for restarting the game, so on and so forth. Because what I'm going to do now is go in Unity, and I'm going to hit here or double click and create an audio manager script. And going back in our scripts folder and helper scripts, right click, I am going to create a C# script, which I'm going to call audio manager, and attach it on the audio manager game object. So simply drag and drop it on the audio manager. And what do we have in our audio manager? Well, first of all, let me just tag the class, give a little bit of space. We are also going to make him an instance. So we are going to say here public static audio manager instance like this. And here we are simply going to create void make instance. So if instance is equal to null, we're simply going to say instance is equal to this. In our awake function, we're going to call make instance, and that is that. This is for our instance. And we're also going to have our public audio clip for our pick up sound and for our dead sound. And for these two, we are simply going to have a public void play. Why are you correcting me? So public void play underscore pick up sound like this. And we are going to call here audio source play clip at point. The clip is pick up sound at point transform that position. And I'm going to duplicate it, paste it here. This is going to be play dead sound. And simply here, instead of the pickup sound, we are going to paste our dead sound. And it's simple like that. And for our sounds, go in the audio manager. And for our pickup, so pickup sound is going to be our eat fruit sound. And for our dead sound, we are going to have game over sound 2. So game over sound number 2, this is what we have for our sounds. Moving back in our script for the player controller, here when we increase the score, we are also going to call our audio manager .instance to play the pickup sound. And here we're going to call our audio manager .instance to play the dead sound. Practically, we are done with our game. If I go back here and I'm going to pump up the volume so that we can hear the sounds. So now when we pick up our fruit, pay attention. Let me just try to pick one of these up. It's like an eating sound. You see, I had to stop there because I was about to pick up a fruit. And again, and again, and again, and we can pick them up. And notice when I hit the wall, the game is stopped. We don't spawn anything anymore. We did create here a function in our gameplay controller. So we created this to cancel our spawning. We did not call it because we're using here timescale in our gameplay controller. When the timescale is set to 0, instantiate will not work. But if you want to implement something else, you can call cancel invoke. You can stop the game with the boolean, whatever you choose. And that is that basically. So in our gameplay controller, we did nothing new. We just created here our instance. We attached our pickup prefabs. I've explained how I got these values. This is the text for the score and the score count. Here we simply have a coroutine that based on the random value will either spawn a fruit or spawn a bomb. Invoke spawning, which will call this function again to start the same coroutine. Increasing the score here for our audio manager, simply playing the pickup sounds and the dead sound by using play clip at point. We created also a script to deactivate our pickups after 3 or 6 or between 3 and 6 seconds. Here for our player controller, simply we called those functions to play the sounds and to display the score. And we explained everything else in the previous videos. So again, I'm going to hit the play button so that we can see this in action one more time. So here is one of our pickups. I'm going to try to die this time by eating or touching my own tail. So I've ate this. Come on, come on, come on. This and this and this. This also. Oh, I missed that one. Yeah, I died. Now you see here, you see how he died? We should have passed this here. The reason for this is because my collider for my eyeball, or this one, the snake's head, is too large. You can resize it. So the radius is set at 1, or actually for this snake, this dude right here, excuse me. So the radius is set at 0.11. You can resize it. Let me just go in the scene and search for the snake. You can resize it to something like 0.09, which is smaller. So if I hit the play button, so now our collider is smaller, we can still pick things up. So we can eat here the fruit, as you just saw. So we can eat the fruit. But when we try to pass our own tail, then it will work, because let me just try to make the snake a little bit bigger to demonstrate that. So we ate this, and let me just eat this as well. And let me try. Okay, now it worked. You see, now we are not dead by going right near our tail, but we will be dead if I do this. And bam, we have died. Again, this is our small 3D snake game. This is how simple it is. If you had this idea when the Nokia phone came out, probably we will be millionaires, but hey, we did not came with that idea first, so just learn something from this tutorial and this game that we have created. Fahir here from awesomedudes.com. I will see you guys in the next video.